What is your position?
I'm a detention officer at Forsyth County Jail.
What does a typical day of work entail?
Originally, when I got hired, we worked both days and nights. We rotate. Our shifts currently, like, we'll work Monday, Tuesday, have Wednesday, Thursday off, work Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The following week, we would have Monday, Tuesday off, work Wednesday, Thursday, and have the rest of the week off. That was then. Now we're on permanence, but we work 12.25-hour shifts. So a typical day on day shift, you get there, you relieve the previous team, and that entails them giving you a clipboard full of everything that happened that previous shift. They just kind of inform you what's going on in the dorm, just so you're a little bit more prepared for what you're getting into. From that point, you write your stuff. You write the important things down on yours, and then you go out. I think it's 7:30. We'll have a facility count, so that entails us going out into the dorm and going to each cell, looking for bodies as people that are in there, and get through the whole dorm up and downstairs, and hopefully those numbers match. And then you go tell your control room officer, and then they tell whoever's in whoever called the count how many you have in total, and hopefully that all goes through. And while you do that, after that clears, which means count every floor in the facility had the right amount of people, because they have a number of people what they should have, and when it's just even one person off, we'll have to do a recount, and there's different levels of that. So the first is just called count, right? The second count would be a recount, and then we have special count, which if that happens, so after 3 times it messes up. If I'm on A side and my friend, whoever's on the other side, B side, we'll switch dorms and we'll count those dorms. After that, if that doesn't have to go through, we'll have to do a roll call count, and that's a little more. I've never experienced that, but basically what you do, you go to each door, you ask each inmate what their name is, write down their booking number and everything, and you do that, and it takes a while. And then hopefully that goes through. If it goes, they might have to do another roll call count if it doesn't go through the first time, but that's very rare. More than likely a recount will happen, maybe a double, that's about it. But outside of that, after that 7:30 count clears, you unlock. So if it's a Monday, the left side will come out, and the way that our facility is designed is like the dorm is like a circle. It's cut in half. There's an upstairs and a downstairs. There's probably 35 inmates on this side, 35 inmates on this side. Because it's a Monday, the left side would come out first. So these, we'll say 35 people come out, and they gotta have a 2-hour time limit. And then later in the day, at like 4 o'clock, the right side will come out. After the 2 hours, the officers gotta stay in the dorm. They're required to do 3 searches each shift. Whoever they want. There's no, that's the minimum, there's no maximum. You could go through every door if you wanted to. Excuse me. So after that, you have like there's 3 feeding times, 2 on day shift, 1's on night shift. So we'll do lunch so from 8 to 10, the inmates are out, then they go back in. Probably about 11:30, you'll have lunch. After that's done, you kind of get your meal, get the officers' breaks in, and then by like 2 o'clock, you'll have the right side come out. Then after that, they go from 2 to 4. From 4 o'clock, you have a count. Then after that, you'll serve dinner trays, and then by 7 o'clock, you'll be gone, hopefully. But different days of the week, there's different things that go on. So like depending on what floor or whatever, there's like commissary. So we have these individuals come into the building, and they it's like here at school, like if you have a C-store, wherever you guys college students buy their food, it's like they're the same thing, but before the week, they have to put their order in a commissary machine, and then these people bring that stuff in. So I mix that a little bit up, but basically they order on this machine, and if it's like a Monday, these people come in, and we give them each their food, which can be a taxing process, but that's one thing. We have maintenance men that come on shift all the time. There's different medical personnel that come in to either make people workers, which that's a different process. Just check on their health, because that's a big deal for us. What else happens during the days?
Visitation. Visitation.
Yeah, visitation's daily, basically, except for Fridays. People can come visit their loved ones, but they have designated days as well. So, like I said, on a Monday, if it'll be like the left side, it'll be their visitation day, and basically when that happens, the other side, the opposite side, will have like rec. So if I'm in A dorm and here's B dorm would actually have rec, and say if I'm in A, then they'd have visitation. But basically that's how like a typical like Monday would go on day shift. There's other various things that we do, but I'm on nights now, and we have our different activities that we have to do. So for night shift, like I said, it's the same thing as far as getting the pass along from the previous shift, talk to them, and then we literally just go right in. They say, like I said, Monday, if it's 7:30, we unlock one side from 7:30 to 9:30, and then it'll be back to back. So once that left side goes in, then from 9:30 to 11:30, the other side will come in. But for night shift, there's different requirements that we do. We have to give them like jumpsuits and new sheets, just different subs, and that happens once a week. Every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, basically the nights before inmates have to go to court, we give them clippers and razors, and we give every inmate that signs up throughout the day. Outside of that, night shift only has one meal time, which is like, depending where you're at. My floor it's like 5:30 or 4:30. And our shift, we still have count on nights too, the ones at midnight, and then there's one at 3:30 in the morning. And I guess within the dorm, they have, just to think about, like, they have access to phones, so they can call their families. They have there's typically 2 televisions, and the officers are in control of the stations, but I mean, obviously if they want to watch something, we can turn it on. There's certain stations that they can't watch, which obviously we monitor. We give them the opportunity to clean their rooms, which that entails giving them like a mop bucket, brooms, spray bottle, and they can do what they want. We're also required to give them like toilet paper, tissue, paper towels, soap, and trash bags and stuff like that. I would say that's about the typical night and day from what I can think of right now.
Okay. How long have you been working at the facility?
I've been working there for over a year.
So I'm going to go ahead and ask you a few questions about contraband. To what extent is contraband an issue in your facility?
It's an everyday thing. Like I said, those certain things that we give them, these people, they're criminals, but some of them are intelligent and creative. If I were to give you right now like a toilet paper towels, maybe a rubber band, and this and that, and I'll tell you, make me something out of it, do you think you could do that? No.
Not something very significant.
Right. You want to think, you want to think you would be able to do anything with that stuff. These guys, like I said, with the toilet paper, what are you going to do with toilet paper? Whatever. These guys will use that cardboard in there, fold it in a certain way, and they can actually lodge it in that door and pop it at any time that they want. Even styrofoam cups, they can bend and make those. They'll make like shower caps. If they get gloves, officers have gloves. If they happen to get it, there's a black band that they can use and make a shower cap, and they use that in the shower heads. In the which I didn't say in there, but yeah, they do stuff like that. Yeah.
You said something about giving them razors and clippers earlier.
Yeah.
Are they monitored while using those?
Yeah. We basically, how that would go, you know, for day shift, we'll have that list. I'm a night shift, so I read that list. I make a list of who gets what, and then I go out and distribute it. You know, inmates can be out when I'm doing that. Everyone's locked down, and they're allotted 30 minutes, and then I go back and get all this stuff.
Okay. What types of efforts are made to eliminate contraband within the facility?
We're required to do at least 3 searches. That's the minimum, maximum, however many we go on. Yeah.
Have there been any recent changes or revisions to the efforts to eliminate contraband?
Excuse me?
Have there been any recent changes or revision to the efforts to eliminate contraband?
No, it's just a daily thing. It's a part of the process.
What types of punishments are given when dealing with contraband?
10 minutes.
Punishments. Well, as officers, we have different options. Different officers, depending on how they are, will deal with it their own ways. But typically, you could lock someone down, which that just means tell them to go in their room. You can lock them down for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, the whole rest of the time. It depends on that person, their preference. In some cases, some people, they've been in trouble a certain amount of times, they'll get tickets. We have the ability to give them tickets. And when we give them a ticket, we'll write down the offense, who the inmate was, his booking number, his or her booking number, and then we'll write the sanction, like what had happened, like, okay, found contraband, or try to like manipulate a lock and door, how I told you with the toilet paper, the cardboard. And then we have elements of locking them down for 23 hours, taking away their visits, their commissary, their rec time. Yeah, and in some cases, when there's a repeat offender within the jail, after the 3rd ticket, that'll require SRT, special response team, to get that guy or girl and take them to designated disciplinary floors. Yeah.
Do you find that the increase in technology has increased contraband within the facility, such as cell phones?
As far as technology, and this might sound strange, but down in intake, that's basically where these guys come in. It'll depend on how an officer searches them, but we're usually pretty good. Not much ever gets through, and they do body searches. A person will have to come in, take their clothes off, and they make sure no one's hiding anything on them. So typically it's very rare for anything to ever come on in, because those guys down there are really good. But another element that people might not think of is officers they might bring in their cell phones. They're not supposed to. They could bring technology, but typically that doesn't happen, but it is a possibility. I know in 6 South, which that is primarily for females. Males can't work on those floors, just female officers. And they tried a pilot program of giving them tablets to kind of give them an opportunity to get educated, to read, and just kind of see if that would kind of help ease things within the jail. And so far, it's doing all right. Yeah.
All right. How important is it to eliminate contraband?
I mean, it's very important, because it's like I said, I know I keep going back to the example. I'll give you a situation. there's one gentleman that was giving me a lot of problems one day, and he had actually threatened me. It got to the point where I had to call the special response team, SRT, to go take care of him. And what they found out after, they had escorted him to 8 South, which is the male disciplinary floor. He actually had a key in his door. So, like I was trying to describe earlier, we had to do rounds every 30 minutes. Like, anything could have happened when I walked past his door, and he had the potential to open that door, and he could have harmed me, but it didn't get to that point. As addressed before, it could be happening. So I mean, it's definitely a possibility.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm going to move on to officer safety and inmate violence. What measures are taken to prevent inmate violence as well as increase officer safety within the facility?
Basically, if there's 3 people that work on a post. So say I'm somewhere, we'll go A side, the control room, B side. Us 3, we're a team. Basically, the control room's officer's job, along with controlling the flow of traffic, which meaning opening doors, they're supposed to be surveying us just to protect us from potential hazards that are out there. We are required to be out in our dorms for those 2 hours. While that's all going on, a lot of teamwork's involved. Typically, if there's something that goes down that requires a call from the SRT team, we'll help each other out. So say a guy won't lock down when I told him lock down. So typically the standard is, okay, I yell at the dorm, hey, go lock down. That means them to go in their rooms and shut the doors. I'll try to, if possible, if I have the opportunity, grab this face sheet book, which has everybody's face sheet that's in my dorm, and from there I'll leave that dorm. When as our team comes, I'll tell them what's happening, what happened, who it is, where they're at, and I'll go in the control room and then they'll take care of it. So there's definitely a system, but a lot of it, things can be prevented depending on how that officer is, which different officers, although we all have the same job, we all have different personalities, different strengths. Some people can talk to people better than others and diffuse situations, stop fights. I was in 4 South, which is typically a new intake dorm, which means after someone gets arrested and goes through intake downstairs where they search them, they go into this dorm and they're stuck in there for 7 days because they gotta make sure that they're, if someone's coming off drugs or alcohol or whatever withdrawals, they're safe and they're monitored there. There's a fight between almost a fight between 2 people, but because I could get in between, I could relate and talk to one of the individuals. I got him to come out of the dorm. I took him to a side room and I just talked to him, let him chill in there, cool off. The other gentleman went into a cell, and then I got him back in and took care of it. So, a lot of the problems that occur in there, they're either going to happen, or if you are the right temperament, the right person at the right time, you can divert some of the problems.
When you first started working there, did the facility do anything to prepare you for instances that involve violence?
Typically, yeah. They did. We went through, everybody in the jail has to get certified. They have a 186-hour course class, and a part of that is their SCAT, and basically that just entails us learning techniques like when they're handcuffed, if they buck, meaning that just trying to get away from the officer, certain techniques to control them, and if it ever came to a situation where we get fought, some defense techniques, but typically our agency doesn't want us, the officers that aren't not SRT, to lay hands on anybody, so we leave and typically we call them to come and take care of that.
Okay. How often have you personally experienced inmate violence?
Personally, I've seen one fight, but it occurs, it happens. But it's like I said earlier, depending on who that person is and how they can diffuse something, maybe they can stop it, but I can't say it doesn't happen. Sometimes there's, if someone's got their mind set up and they're going to do it, they're going to do it. So.
Okay. I know you talked a little bit about this, but my final question is, what protocol do you take when a violent situation occurs?
Yeah, it's, you just notify the dorm, everybody lock down, go to my desk and grab the face sheet book, leave the dorm, and then call SRT to come, and they'll come. I'll inform them of all the pertinent information, and then they'll go in there and they'll take care of the situation, get them out, if it's male or female, take them to their designated disciplinary floors.
Thank you.